Hey, welcome back to Anti-King. So about a year ago, I put out a list ranking all the Halloween movies in anticipation for the then upcoming Halloween Kills. However, some things have happened since then. Namely, 2 Halloween movies have come out. 2 very divisive Halloween movies have come out. And I felt like I needed to update my list. Also, as I've said about 1,000 times, I'm trying to just put out a ton of Halloween content, so I'm trying to think of different ways to keep it fresh. And I didn't just want to remake the video I already made, so I decided to switch it up and do something I've never done on this channel before and make a tier list. I wanted to start by saying this video, a lot like the other Halloween movie ranking video I did, will not include Season of the Witch. It's just hard to compare, all these movies kind of loosely follow the same formula, and Season of the Witch just does its own thing. It's impossible for me to compare. So anyways, meet me in split screen and let's get to it. Hey, welcome to split screen. So I've got the tiers all loaded up. Pretty simple, they're still gonna be ranked. The top left is gonna be like the #1 movie, and you'll just kind of read it like a book. Top left will be #1, bottom right will be last. I think it will be interesting to see, after all the shit I talked about Halloween ends, if it ends up being last. There's really only a couple contenders. But that's not where we're starting. Today, we are starting with Halloween 5. And I think I get a lot of the criticism around this movie. I think having Jamie be mute throughout the whole thing was a pretty bad call, because Danielle Harris is just such an amazing actress. I don't agree with the sentiment that all the characters are unlikable. I actually like most of them. Also, this is one of the few Halloween movies that has a lot of diversity in the kills. It's not just a bunch of stabbings. It's far from perfect. It definitely has some problems. The mask looks ridiculous. It features Blonde Michael, which is one of the most baffling mistakes on any horror movie ever. But I don't think it's as bad as people say. I'm not putting it anywhere near the F tier. I'm going to put it in the C. And next, on the opposite end of that, a movie I don't think is anywhere as good as people say, would be Halloween H2O. This was pretty much Halloween's take on Scream. Scream happened and just completely took over the horror industry. Every movie wanted to do something like it. It even features the screenwriter for Scream, Kevin Williamson. A lot of people praise this one still to this day, especially back when it first came out. But still to this day, it's a fan favorite that I don't particularly love, really. I definitely don't like it as much as Halloween 5. That brings us to Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and our first contender for the worst Halloween movie. There's a lot of really bad stuff in this. You've got the weird, like, Men in Black Michael Myers as a government conspiracy plotline. You've got the Cult of Thorns stuff, but it does have some of the most graphic kills in the entire franchise, and it does have a young Paul Rudd, which is pretty fun, but it definitely belongs down here in the F tier. Next, we have Halloween 4. After experimenting with anthology storytelling in number 3, which as I mentioned doesn't have Michael Myers in it at all, 4 was a very triumphant return for Michael Myers. It introduces Jamie, aka Danielle Harris, who's such a big part of this franchise now. A lot of people rank this as their favorite or like top 3 favorite Halloween movie. I like it a lot. I would not put it up that high. I would say I like it more than Halloween 5 or H2O, and a lot more than Curse. So yeah, I think we'd put it B tier. Next is Halloween 2018. And this movie honestly almost hurts to think about now, because this movie really is so good. But after seeing how bad Ends is, like it really brings out the bad qualities. Like the weird Michael-obsessed doctor who like pops up wearing his mask. That being said though, this is one of my favorite Halloween things that's ever been created. It sucks because watching it now, you see the potential this whole trilogy could have had. That really just got totally thrown away. That being said, I would say 2018 is for sure an A tier. And now 1978, the original, the one that started it all off. This is still a classic. I think it's aged amazingly well. This movie's also been talked about endlessly for decades now. Obviously, it's an S tier movie. And now another controversial one, Rob Zombie's Halloween. You know, people really complained about seeing the backstory for Michael Myers. And I kind of understand that, because he's meant to just be like this embodiment of evil. He's not really supposed to have like a motivation. So from that perspective, I guess I could see why people hate this so much. But to that, I'd say this movie is meant to be like a standalone reimagining. So that stuff really doesn't bother me. I actually think it's pretty cool for its own little like alternate universe. I do get the criticism that it's very trashy, it's very Rob Zombie. I personally like a lot of Rob Zombie movies, so that stuff doesn't necessarily bother me. but I could see why someone who's loyal to the franchise might feel like it's out of place. But as its own little self-contained story, I actually like it quite a bit. I think I'll probably leave it here in B tier. I definitely like it better than these two. I might like it better than Halloween 4. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in front of Halloween 4. I know people won't agree with that, but... And now another divisive Halloween movie, Halloween Kills. This movie probably has the most brutal version of Michael Myers. And while it is definitely a step down from 2018, I didn't particularly like any of the hospital stuff really in this movie. But I did like it a lot as a continuation on 2018. Everything in the other half of the movie, the stuff that featured Michael Myers and the mob hunting him down, I think was really great. And looking back on it, paired with 2018, it looked like this trilogy was going in such a promising direction. I definitely would put it in the B tier here as well. I don't know if I like it. I like it more than 4. I like it more than Halloween. Yeah, I think I like it more than Rob Zombie's too. This feels high for it, but I mean... And now for our next contender for possibly worst Halloween movie. Halloween Resurrection. There is some bad stuff in here. This movie really tried to like modernize Halloween, but it ended up doing so in a really cringy way. It had an entire B story that felt completely it literally seemed like they got to the end of the movie and they were like, this thing's not long enough. So they just filmed all those scenes entirely separately and just kind of tacked them on to add a good 20 minutes or so. You've got Kung Fu Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks. There's a lot of bad stuff in this movie. So is it worse than Curse of Michael Myers? I would say yes. Next we have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. People hate this movie. I have seen this at the bottom of so many Halloween lists, and I think that's ridiculous. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as Curse or Resurrection or Ends. I wouldn't put it up to snuff with these movies. It's certainly not an S or A tier. Do I like it more than 5? No, probably not. Maybe more than 5. Definitely more than H2O. I think the first 20 minutes of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which was an homage to the original Halloween 2, is some of the best Halloween stuff there is. I think if we stay down that road, we'd be talking about this movie a lot differently now. Danielle Harris as Sheriff Annie Brackett. Her death in this movie is super impactful, way more impactful than most kills in a Halloween movie. I will agree that a lot of the symbolism stuff is really stupid. Having Michael speak at the end was pretty stupid. Also, I saw this in theaters, and that original ending was one of the worst things they've ever come up with. Not a very good movie, but I don't think anywhere near as bad as people say it is. Oh, and the kills in this movie. The kills in this movie are some of the best in the franchise as well. So we're down to 2. We've got Halloween 2 here, the original Halloween 2. Released in 1981. And yeah, if you watched that previous Halloween ranking video, nothing's changed. I thought Halloween 2 took everything from the original and just amped it up a bit. The gore is better. I think the hospital setting is iconic. This is probably my favorite Donald Pleasance performance as Dr. Loomis. And I know Laurie's sidelined to a hospital bed for most of it, but she still has stuff to do. And the end is good enough to make it feel earned. So this, I think it's really a toss-up between these two, but I prefer Halloween 2 a little bit more. And now we will end on the most recent Halloween Ends. If you've watched my review on this, you already know how I feel about this. Not very strongly. I said at the beginning of that video that this is probably immediately the worst Halloween there is. So I'm looking here, and is it worse than Curse? I would say yes. Because, again, at least Michael Myers is in Curse, you know? And then, is it worse than Resurrection? Yeah, I think I'd rather watch Resurrection. Again, at least Michael Myers does something in this. At least he kills some people. Ends to me is almost like, I feel like one day it's going to end up like 3, where it's just a conversation in its own, because it features so little of the core elements of a Halloween movie that it's really hard to even debate, like it doesn't even belong in this list, it feels like, because it's like a Halloween movie at the beginning and end, and then just like this random other fucking story crammed in the middle. So yeah, even with time to sit on it, I would have to say Halloween Ends is definitely the worst one. So that's it. This is my list from first to last. We'll go the original Halloween 2, the original Halloween 1978, Halloween 2018 in the A tier. Step down to the B tier, we have Halloween Kills, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and Halloween 4. Take another step down to the C tier, we have Halloween 5, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and H2O. Nothing really fit in the D tier. In the F tier, we have Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween Resurrection, and last, and absolutely least, Halloween Ends. Fuck you, David Gordon Green. Yes, fuck you indeed. Welcome back to Full Screen. Thank you guys for watching. That was my updated list. Hopefully this is fun. Fun to watch. I don't know, I just spent the last 30 minutes rambling. Hopefully I can edit it into a coherent video. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching. I have a bunch more stuff coming up soon. And until then, let's stay safe. Let's stay safe.